Hey, Shackers, welcome back to This Week in Switch 2, I think it's the world's fastest growing podcast currently.
Something like that.
I pulled that statistic out of my ass. I'm your host, Asif Khan. I own Shacknews. I'm the CEO, the editor-in-chief, and EIEIO, which stands for Extremely Intelligent Extreme Intelligence Officer, which is not a made-up title. It's very real. It's not just to boost our valuation, although it is boosting our valuation. And I'm joined here by my co-hosts who have been basically drafted into this show. I got Donovan Erskine, who's our news editor.
Hello.
And I have David Craddock, who's our long reads editor. Both of you guys played some new Switch 2 games over the last week. I even joined you guys to do that. So we're going to jump into it. We've talked about native Switch 2 games on this podcast, games that were made for the Switch 2. And boy, one gameplay mechanic that I think people have been kind of sleeping on since the launch of this system has been mouse gameplay. The Joy-Cons can now be flipped and put on the table, and you can use them like a pointing device. There it is. They even have a little a lanyard thing that attaches to it.
It's like the classic wrist thing, so that you can they have the little, what do you call the mouse pads that you can slide it across surfaces and whatnot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you tried out as part of the Global Jam Drag and Drive. So I one question. Why is it an X between drag and drive?
So this is actually something I learned recently, that I guess just in some forms of writing, X can just mean and, because they did that Godzilla versus King Kong sequel, and it was called Godzilla X Kong. And I remember when they announced it, people were like, it's Godzilla X Kong. And then a lot of people came out like, oh, that just means and. It's Godzilla and Kong.
I always thought it meant crossed with. Like crossed.
Same, yeah.
Or times. Like multiplied.
Like Street Fighter Cross Tekken is how I always said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's already an ampersand out there. Like it exists.
Well, maybe it's like an Asian thing, since Drag and Drive is Nintendo, and then Godzilla Kong, it's a WB movie, but Godzilla's a Asian property. Maybe it's like a language thing.
Okay.
But in this case, it means and Drag and Drives. Which I played the Global Jam. I played some outside of the Global Jam, reviewing it for Shacknews. I think that going into the Switch 2, this was like the one game they showed that was like, okay, that's an interesting one. It wasn't like the big IPs or anything that anyone was expecting, but Nintendo always has at least one game that nobody's expecting them to announce or show off, especially when it's new console technology. And after playing a good bit of it, I feel very whelmed by Drag and Drive. Very whelmed by that game.
When you say that, you're not underwhelmed,
yeah.
You're not overwhelmed, you're whelmed.
I had moderately low expectations, and they were met pretty head on. This game is essentially
expectations for this with my preview.
No, well, I mean, when they just showed the trailer, I was like, oh, that doesn't look particularly interesting. But I mean, the door was open, and maybe you or somebody would go to the preview and be like, oh no, this game is like much more than you think it is. And you played it, and you were like, it's whatever. And I was like, okay, yeah, so it's what I thought. Now that I played it for myself, I mean, it is a showpiece of the mouse controls, but not just that, how the mouse controls work in tandem with the gyro controls. That's what it is. That's like the beginning and end of that game is the combination of the different mice, because yes, it's a wheelchair basketball game, and you use the mice to independently control each hand. So you slide forward to roll the wheels, you can go backwards, you can
go forward
pull one in place
to do a fast turn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can pull the trigger on one to hold that wheel tight, and you flick the other one, you do a quick 90 or 180 degree turn. And then of course when you shoot, you just lift the mouse off of whatever surface. I ended up using my legs a lot, which it just feels weird. I don't love it. I did it when I played Donkey Kong as well. They told me to at the preview. They're like, oh, just try it on your leg. And in Drag and Drive, it's like, when you start it, it's like, hey, try using a table or your legs. And I'm like, that's just there's way too many variables there, man, of people's comfortability doing that, depending on what you're wearing. It just feels weird. I did it on my leg. It's like my shorts, the wrinkles I kept catching on the thing. I'm like, this is just not an optimal way to do this.
It's like one thing to take one computer mouse and put it on your thigh as a pointer, right? That's one thing. And I don't think that's a big deal. It's a whole other thing where the locomotion of the game is you going forward or backwards at the same time with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a lot of movement. And there is friction on your leg. Like it
feels
feel
weird.
right.
Yeah, and I tried everything. So I did that. I also sat on the couch and I did them like next to me, which is the closest to like actually controlling a wheelchair, or they'd be out to your sides.
Yeah.
That felt awkward. My elbows hitting the couch and whatnot. I did like the table in front of me on an actual mouse pad. That's fine. Arms get tired doing it. And I know it's Nintendo. They're the people who brought you the Wii and Ring Fit Adventure and stuff. But after a few games, I was like, I want to like stop.
Yes.
My arms.
Yes.
Very strange.
I always say it was the greatest betrayal Nintendo ever did when Wii Fit came out and they told me I was fat, right? It was like, you're fat. We're going to weigh you. We're going to tell you you're fat. And I'm like, enough, Nintendo. And now it's like, hey, Asif, let's exercise. It was literally the first demo I did at the April 2nd event, Donovan, and I was like sweating. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to do this. It reminds me, like, you mentioned it's like a proof of concept. It's like that early generation Nintendo thing where they just want to show off some gameplay mechanics. I compare this, it's like ARMS and 1-2 Switch kind of thrown into a blender with the Switch 2. Because it's like, it's not as bad as 1-2 Switch, right? But 1-2 Switch was like, we're going to show you how to count balls in your controller and eat a hot dog and stuff. This is not as lame as that. And ARMS was actually quite a good game. It wasn't a bad game. But it is tiring.
I'm so glad you brought up ARMS. And yes, it is tiring. And I think it wouldn't be as bad if there was like a break in gameplay. But like, think of like when you play basketball, you just constantly run back and forth the whole time. You just run from end to end of the court. And it's the same thing in Drag and Drive. It's like you're rolling to one side. By the time you get there, it's time to go back to the other side. You never stop doing this for the entirety of a game. It is a bit exhausting. But I'm glad you mentioned ARMS, because that brings up another equally large issue I have with Drag and Drive, is that this game just has no charm or like personality or like the registered trademark Nintendo magic that even like the weird and bad games have, right? Like obviously ARMS didn't spawn like a franchise or whatnot, but ARMS still gave us like Twintel and Min Min and like these characters that went on to show up in like Smash and Nintendo Directs and stuff. First of all, there are no characters in Drag and Drive. They're all like these gray, faceless, like robotic humanoids that have like helmets you can like change the color of the trim on and stuff. But there is no Min Min, right, in Drag and Drive. The whole game has this like gray and black color palette. There's
not going to be a Drag and Drive amiibo, to your point.
Yeah. They're not going to be in the next Smash. Maybe an assist trophy, but you're not going to see one of these guys wheeling out. Yeah, it's just
that. Yeah, the next Smash. We can't even talk about that yet.
No, but I can tell you that these guys won't be in it. And it was just so disappointing because even like, again, like ARMS, like, and I'm not going to try to rewrite history and say I loved ARMS. I didn't like that game. But at least ARMS had like some charm, some personality. They were like going for something. That game had like a vision.
Yeah.
Where Drag and Drive feels more like something they would show you to demonstrate the mouse controls, right? Like a few years ago when Switch 2 was in development or R&D or whatever, they were like, hey, we've like mocked up this thing to show you what it could be like to play. And now we'll attach this to Mario or whatever IP or something and make it like an actual fun, enjoyable experience, which it just feels very anti-Nintendo. I'm like, if you just gave me that game, it was like, guess who made this? I wouldn't know. I think the most Nintendo thing of it all is the motion controls, because they're just the only people still going ham on that in 2025. But other than that, it's just completely missing their DNA, which I thought was pretty disappointing.
It's very Nintendo in that it takes existing technology, a mouse, and it does something that I don't think I've ever done before, which is use two mice simultaneously. And I don't know if you ran into this, Donovan. I found it quite hard to pull back at the same time with both of them. Like, I would always be like slightly off, like one way or the other.
There's a lot of awkward moments where one is like a second ahead of the other and you do like this weird thing, and then you try to adjust and you overcorrect.
Yeah.
And you just, whatever possession, you've already gotten the ball stolen from you, or you've missed the defensive cue or whatever was happening there. Yeah. Or even when you shoot, right? Because when you shoot, it's motion controls and you've kind of got to line up the shot. So depending on how you're coming down the court, you want to stop and do a three. You know, if you're on like the wing, you got to kind of turn, you got to hit that wheel a little bit. And sometimes it does feel pretty cool. You hit at the right angle and you go. But a lot of times I do it, I'm like, but then by the time I've done that, the guy has already come and hit me. Yeah. Knock the ball out. So it has a lot of those weird, awkward gameplay moments. Yeah.
I saw some people comparing it to Rocket League, because it's 3v3 and it's fast paced
and chasing the ball back and forth.
Wheels, and
Sure.
I don't think it's anything like Rocket League. I had a question about the gameplay mechanics though. Can you play this with a controller, like just traditionally, or no?
Nope. I tried to boot it up in handheld, and like the Switch screen where it's like connect the controllers, hit ZR, LR.
This one's like
it pulls
the controllers.
It pulls that up, and then it shows me like the handheld mode. It's got like an X through it. It's like you cannot, like, it's not letting me continue the game with that setup.
You
so
can
no.
play it in tabletop mode though, right? Like where you
can, yeah.
Okay.
You can just take the joy, as long as you've got the Joy-Cons detached and doing the mouse stuff.
Someone tells me we're not going to see anyone posted up at Starbucks playing Drag and Drive in tabletop mode.
No, you're not going to see anyone play it. Drag and Drive.
Sorry,
mode.
sorry,
No.
Nintendo.
Look, it's not all bad. There are parts of the game I do think are fun. I think that the actual shooting is satisfying when it goes in. There's like cool animations and stuff. You can dunk, which is hilarious for this wheelchair basketball game. But like
you can like do a 360 jam in this game.
The court,
it's hard.
It is. The court is like it's like a half pipe.
Yeah.
So like when you go to the out of bounds, it's like a ramp. You can like catch speed and go up, and you angle it right, and you do the shooting motion in air. You can just like slam dunk in a wheelchair, which that's fun.
I think
you
that's
get style
part of the
points.
meta, honestly, though, Diamond, is like when you're on one side of the court, you got to get to the side and get in the air because it's harder to steal the ball from you when you're in the air. That's what I found by the end of my demo was like, oh, this side is like you got to live on the half pipes. But that's super disorienting because if you're twisting the wrong way as you go off of the half pipe, you start spinning and then you land and you're like, I don't know which way I'm even going anymore.
And they don't protect you from that. You can like if you just land like not on your wheels, your wheelchair just go like tumbling. You'll have to like flip back over and whatnot. They don't protect you from that.
Yeah.
You get style points. So like 2-point shot. Yeah, inside the arc is 2 points. Beyond the arc is 3 points like basketball. But if you dunk, it's like 2 points and then 0.2 points. So you'll have like 2.2 for like the style or like.
I guess we got to credit Nintendo for innovating and scoring in basketball. Can you imagine fractional points for style?
Yeah.
Wait, how many
imagine
points?
Like Steph Curry did this.
Yeah. How many career points would Steph Curry or LeBron James have if there was like bonus points for random crap? Like, I actually think that's an interesting idea. Like, you can have these like judges at both ends of the court. They're like, I give that dunk a 5 out of 5. And I don't know.
It does create an interesting scenario though, right? Where like you could be down 2.5 on the last possession of the game, right? And you need more than just like a basic standing mid-range shot. You'll need to like maybe lift up on a wheel and shoot or dunk, and like it does create those interesting, I guess, emergent multiplayer moments. So I like that aspect of it. There's like progression-based challenges, so they give you like trophies for doing like different gameplay challenges, and you can unlock like helmets and stuff. I think helmets are the only thing you unlock in this game to customize yourself. There are different like wheels and stuff you can change. I think all that's unlocked from the beginning. It's helmets though that are like, get more trophies, you get this helmet, and you can change the colors and stuff. They have positions. You can pick if you're a guard, center, or forward, and that just determines like the size and then like stats, right? So like a guard is like small, but they like move the fastest.
Yeah.
Which is great. But also if you get hit, you're gonna give up the ball every time. Center's like the bigger, tankier wheelchair, but it's slow. That I thought was interesting. I'm sure people will get more into the team strategy. The dozens of people that'll still be playing this in a few months will get into the meta of all that.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a simple question for you. And this podcast is going live after as your review goes live.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play this after you're done playing it for review?
Probably not. This is one that like maybe I'll like pull out at a party one time. Like with my friends there, we're trying to find a new thing to play on Switch. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, we can like try out this drag and drive game, and I imagine that'll be like a 20 to 30 minute thing, and we'll move on. Because even as a party game, right? It's like you need 2 Joy-Con to play, so it doesn't even lend itself to the like, oh, here, we at least can do 2 players.
So now you need two pairs of Joy-Con.
Yeah.
Play a versus mode in that.
It's just an expensive proposition.
Yeah, can you play? How many players can play in one, like on one system together? Is it 2?
That's a good question. The game is 3v3, so you would assume that it should max out at 3. You should be able to pair 3 sets of Joy-Cons, which David's point is like $200 something worth of accessories or peripherals at that point. and play. But I wasn't able to test out any local multiplayer stuff. You can play against bots, so there's that. You can do bot games, online games. They have mini games, so you can do like races where you're just like on a track, you're just stealing around.
Obstacle course stuff. Like all
time trials.
Actually, all that's kind of cool, but I'm not interested at all. I'll be honest with you. I played it in April. Yeah. And I think it's cool, though, just from a representation standpoint, that there is like a wheelchair basketball game. Like, that's cool.
That to me was the coolest thing about it. I was like, it's admirable that a company as big as Nintendo is the ones who made the wheelchair basketball game. I'm like, it is cool because you see, when they do like the Paralympics and stuff, wheelchair basketball is like among the more interesting sports that they play.
It's cool
that there's like a competent, intuitive game that actually kind of brings that to light. I think that's actually pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just not much to it. And like I said, yeah, you can do mini games and stuff, but even rolling around, because they're called parks, which gave me like 2K PTSD. But when you're like riding around the parks, it's just like the music's like echoey, and it's the music isn't that good. It feels like just something you'd hear like Planet Fitness. And I'm like, there's just no like personality or like edge to this at all. It feels like a packing game would have been like the best life cycle for this game had it just been.
Oh no. This could not be a pack-in game. No, because that's just your first impression. Is this game?
Okay, we'll share.
The perfect pack-in game. David knows what the perfect pack-in game would have been.
What's to Welcome Tour, baby? It sounds like that's better than this game.
I think Welcome Tour might be better than this.
They should have been one package. When I opened my Switch, they should have just all been in one app. Like,
so Drag and Drive should have been one of the many mini games in Welcome Tour. That's actually not a bad take.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see it because no Welcome Tour game showed off that kind of gameplay. But it was just like that was one of those games at the preview event where I was like, this really feels like Nintendo made a tech demo just to show off one thing that the mouse gameplay could do. And like I said, I've never seen anyone else. Have you ever played two mice in your computer before? Like,
no, it's like a nightmare. No,
they both act as the same mouse, I think. Like, because Windows and Mac are not really programmed to have two pointer devices, at the same time. So I like that Nintendo does wacky things like this and they experiment. Yeah. Like you said, I think that one of the highlights is that it is like the first wheelchair basketball game out there, but like I didn't enjoy it. Like, did you find it fun?
I did. So there's the global jam, and then before that I got to play like an online session with some other press and like devs, and that was kind of fun. We hopped on like game chat, and people were like laughing and making jokes and stuff, dunking and whatnot, talking trash, and that was good fun. Like we had a good back and forth there. I think if you got like a group of funny friends, you guys will enjoy a session or two of it. It's not like a miserable video game, but I can't see myself like just queuing up to play people online and just like sitting by myself like at the TV and being like, let's go. But if I had 5 friends who also own this game, which I don't think is going to happen, then maybe.
Did you have ARMS on the original Switch?
I never owned it myself. I played it. I might have just played maybe that or like demo stations. I played it.
Yeah.
Which again, to the ARMS argument, and I've seen other people say this. I saw the it's from Avengers Infinity War, the Thanos meme where he's like, perhaps I judged you too harshly, and it was like me after playing the Dragon Drive demo, and it's like ARMS apologizing because again, it's like at least that game had like a personality,
or style,
or style,
music,
yeah,
because like
there was like something to take away from that one.
Because we're really like Nintendo's on fire when it comes to music right now. Like Donkey Kong Bonanza has excellent music, and Mario Kart World might be the greatest soundtrack ever assembled by the company. So for them to come out with this, and it's like not, I don't know what team was on this, and no offense to them, but it wasn't like clearly not the highest priority game.
It's too bad they couldn't do like facial scanning or something so that you could put your own face on a player. Like that, especially if this is something. Now. Yeah, they have the camera tech, and if this is something that people in wheelchairs could get into, it might be kind of cool to see yourself literally represented in a game, right? Mm-hmm. But without even
like
that,
face raiders.
Yeah,
I mean, 2K's been doing that for years with their face scanning thing, and it's still shit. But
or hey, here's a crazy idea. Mii's, they already have a built-in thing where you create avatars that can be thrown into games. I don't know.
Where are
I'm
we
not
at
sure
with Mii's? Do we think Mii's are dead, or do we think Mii's are still there?
No, because they just announced. Well, they're doing the new Dachi Life, which is like
But that's Switch.
That's all Mii's.
But that's Switch. Yes, it will run on Switch too. But it just feels like, I don't know. It feels like Mii's are kind of taking a back seat. The perfect example is there's no Mii's in Mario Kart World.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So like I think that there's
no Mii Racer.
No, it's just your Mii was like a viable character in a lot of games in the past. And like in Nintendo sports titles like Wii Sports, right? So it's just like to your point, David, like they already have Mii's. They could have just put our Mii's in those chairs, and I'm sure there was a reason they didn't. Like there's some kind of exploit where someone could have done something stupid,
I wondered that because I thought to myself, I was like, this could have been like a Mario sports game. This could have been in like a Switch Sports 2 sort of thing. I was like, I wonder if they had like some sort of like internal philosophy. I don't know if they wanted to like depict certain characters as physically disabled or not, or if they had any sort of like concern, because it does seem weird that the characters are these faceless, nameless, like gray robots.
They're robots,
right? Or I'm like, I think they're literally robots. Right. I just wonder if there was some like weird reason why they didn't do that. Because I think, again, if you had just been like, hey, Nintendo Switch Sports 2 and it's got 5 sports and one of them is wheelchair basketball and it was this, that'd be awesome. I have nothing bad to say about it.
No, because it wouldn't have been
standalone.
The whole emphasis of the game wouldn't have just been one mode or this one gameplay mechanic. But that's why when you're like, oh, this would have been a good pack-in, I'm like, no, the fuck it wouldn't. No, I still think Welcome Tour would have been a great pack-in because that really show. But the problem with Welcome Tour is that it shows off things that you may not have in the box if you just bought the Switch, right? If you didn't buy the camera, if you didn't have a Pro Controller, like there's like different mini games in that where you can
still complete that game even if you're missing like the Switch 2 camera or the Pro Controller or something. But to Donovan's point, like you can't even play this with a controller. You have to play in a very specific way, which you'll be able to if you bought the Switch 2. You have 2 Joy-Con, but still, I feel like this would have been a better mini game within a larger context.
So I don't know why. I agree, Donovan. There must have been some sort of decision made to make this a standalone game. This is not a full-priced game, right? This is.
Oh no, I think this is like $20. Maybe. $20. I'll double check right now.
That's not a bad price.
It's $19.99 in US.
I think it's good that Nintendo is making lower-priced games because they got all this pushback about $80 games, and then they're like, well, here's a $20 game, here's another $20 game. I wasn't Welcome Tour 20 as well. So
I think it was 10.
It was like
10?
I think it was like 10. So somewhere in that neighborhood. I thought it had like a weird price. Wasn't it like $12? Am I making that up? I feel like Welcome Tour had a weird.
It was low though. It was definitely weird. It was definitely.
It's $10.
$9.99. Yeah. So. Yeah, Nintendo's making more affordable games they're just different. But I'm okay with that. I think it's a good thing that they're experimenting.
One thing I want to point out before I forget that I liked in Dragon Drive, it's a very small detail, but since you control your hands with the Joy-Cons, they also blend seamlessly into the gyro controls, meaning that when you take your hands off the wheels, you can like move them independently. You can wave them around.
You high five people.
You can like hit them together to clap. And I learned from 2 other players, they like were like riding past each other and they both reached out and were like high fiving each other as they like slipped past. I was like, that's sweet. That's pretty cool. Not easy to pull off. You got to be very like well in your exexecution, but I was like,
it's not easy. But when you do it, you're like, oh, that's awesome. And like, there's like a little rumble when you do it too.
It was like an unspoken language though. Like somebody on your team would score and people would just start clapping. Like both teams be like, oh, nice, with the motion controls. Which that was cute. I like that.
So what's your score?
I think I'd probably land like a 6. I think it's like a 6 out of 10.
That's fair. What could it have done to maybe get it to that 7? Is it possible that it could have gotten to a 7?
It's definitely possible because again, I think it just goes back to style, music, just the visual identity. If it hadn't been so gray and black, it could have attached it to an IP. They have no shortage of those. I think any of that would have made it at least a little bit more interesting, if nothing else. Maybe some more dedicated solo stuff.
You ever play Rocket League Rumble, Donovan, with like the items?
Oh, I don't know if I played that mode. I've done the basketball and hockey versions, but
there's one that has like a punch thing and like.
Okay, yes, I do remember the boxing
spike or the spike shoot out of your car and the ball sticks to your car. This seems like the kind of game that would have benefited from Mario Kart like mechanics, like items and pickups and stuff and boost power. You know, like it just felt kind of flat. In the gameplay, like there was things they could have done that made it more video gamey. Obviously the spins and the dunks are cool or whatever, but yeah, that was one thing that I thought could have been added to make it a little better. And then I think your point about the presentation overall is sound though. That like the music isn't that great, the characters have very little attitude or personality. Yeah, this is a game that, like, I don't know what IP they could have attached to this. Maybe, like, Rob the Robot.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, everyone's Rob all of a sudden, or, like, you know, like, Rob's the ref or something. You know how Mario was the ref in Punch-Out?
Expand the Rob the Robot universe, create other robots, and...
Yeah.
You know, they could have done that.
They could have done that, you know, and that would have given it a little more personality, I think, because it is... not a very Nintendo-looking game, but the gameplay mechanics I do think are very Nintendo, and the way that they rolled it out are too. But yeah, this is very much a year one Nintendo launch game.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so 6 out of 10. That I think that's fair. I do. I haven't played it nearly as much as you, but like when that review code came in, I was like, I'm glad someone else is reviewing this. I said it before, I don't like exercising when I play video games. I'm not a waggle person, and I definitely like. And props to people who play wheelchair basketball in real life. That shit is exercise. That is cardio.
Body strength. That takes a lot.
It takes a lot of energy to play wheelchair basketball and also to play this game. So I was like, I don't have that energy. I'm out. But that's cool. Not bad.
Yeah, there you go. And since it's become like an ongoing discussion on this show, 1.8 gigabyte download, very small file size, drag and drive.
Look,
it's not so bad.
Look, it is an issue though, Donovan. Like these third parties, like I saw you tweeted you quote tweeted our clip about the storage issues on the Switch 2, and you're like, Nintendo is not running into this problem at all because their games are
it's third parties.
Their games fit on their cartridge.
Which. Speaking of third party, I just learned this morning, Apex Legends Switch 2 edition is like 73 gigabytes. It's absurd.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that can't fit on a cartridge. So like this can, and this is I don't know. This is also easy to download kind of game, but yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Is this a game that would have been better as free to play? Like, do you think?
If not free to play, at least let people try it free somehow. Like maybe I think there should just be like a permanent demo or something.
Yeah, maybe a demo without like those mini games and stuff, and it's just like here's the 3 on.
Or maybe, and I get what I'm saying. They could do it how like EA does it with their sports games, where you can download the game and you get full access, but it's like 10 hours. Like you just have the game and you just get to play it for X amount of time, and then the hope is by the time the demo finishes or your time runs out, you want to play more and you buy it.
Yeah,
I think maybe a model like that could work.
This game definitely needs a free demo if it wants to find success.
And that's kind of what the Global Jam was, but it was a pre-launch thing. So.
And also it happened the same weekend as the Battlefield 6 beta.
Yeah, maybe the worst weekend in the entire year to host an online beta for anything.
But that being said, I saw a lot of people talking about Drag and Drive online this weekend, and it was mainly positive things. It wasn't overwhelmingly negative. It seemed like people were like, this is not that bad. It didn't blow anyone's socks off. No one was like, oh, this is the new Rocket League, but I think people liked it for what it was. That's cool. So yeah, more games are coming out soon. I don't know, where should we go from here? Do we want to talk about when I beat David and Hexen in multiplayer?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. So yeah, Heretic, is this Heretic plus Hexen or and?
I don't know, because it's like last year's Doom plus Doom 2 or Doom and Doom 2. I don't know, but it's a package that includes both games, the original expansions, and 2 new episodes, one for each game. And this is actually a great deal. I just looked it up so we can do some statistics. It's $14.99 on Switch and only like 1.3 gigabytes, which is about, I have it on PC as well. That's the install size on PC. And this is a real fun blast of the past for me. I've actually played Heretic and Hexen somewhat recently because you can run them on GZ Doom with mods and stuff. And it's kind of like other Night Dive releases. This takes a lot of those mods or mod-like support and creates a really nice comprehensive package that you don't need any mods to play. It just works. I love Heretic. I think I prefer Heretic to Hexen just because it's more straightforward. Hexen is confusing to navigate, but as I mentioned in my preview, which is live on the Shacknews now, they did add some quality of life enhancements to show that there's certain iconography that appears in Hub World to show you like which keys you have and which paths you need to open and stuff. And they do that for other levels too. You can turn those on or off. So if you want the pure old school experience, you can just disable that. But I really like both games, and it's really cool to play them again. And yes, Asif and I played some multiplayer on Switch 2 before this, and he did indeed beat me 14-10 in Hexen. We were both the same class too, so I can't make up any excuses.
We were both mages, which, by the way, really fun to have like a Doom-like game, but it's arcane magic and stuff that you're using instead of like guns. Although some of the magic wands very much resemble things like the plasma cannon or the BFG in that game.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely
where's this influence on it?
And like a lot of the enemies are very much reused assets from Doom, but it harkens back to that old era of FPS games, and like the nostalgia is real in this game. It ran fast as hell for me. I was just like, this is fun. Because look, I had like a 386 back when these came out, or like a 486, and it was chugging. Like I was, 14 frames per second playing Heretic. So to be able to play it and it's smoothly running, it supports like 16 players online. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's wild.
Dave and I played Heretic co-op, which was cool. I had never played Heretic in co-op before, and it was just fun because David and I were both kind of fumbling around the maps, remembering so much from these games. But
secret areas and weapon locations and stuff. Yeah.
So it's like fun to do that with a friend. Like I think that's like the real unique thing about this. And the netcode worked very well, both with co-op, but also multiplayer online. Night Dive has gotten really, really good at this. I fear that they're running out of games to remake or remaster.
That's a comment you made, and I've thought a lot about that. Like, I feel like they've stayed centered in the 90s for the most part. Like, but I think that there are 3D games that they could do, and they kind of have. Like, they did Quake 2 a couple years ago, and that was 3D GPU powered.
That was excellent.
But they could do Hexen 2, which is another game I think made with the Quake 2 engine. I think. But yeah, I've wondered where they're going to go from here, because this is like, I don't think this is objectively as big of a deal as Doom 1 and 2 last year, but it is like a really nice package. These games are great, but it does leave me wondering, like, I think TJ was saying he'd love to see Quake 3, but what I've noticed about Night Dive is they stick to games with campaigns, because multiplayer is kind of like additive to their packages. They make really strong single player collections.
Yeah.
Like so I don't know that I ever
System Shock. Like they're going after those great campaigns, and they do a great job with it. But like, it's like they're gonna have to go into this next generation. To your point, like 3D, I don't know, Unreal.
Well, you get to a point where you don't need to remaster or remake certain games. Like, I also coincidentally I was watching G-Man Live's preview or review of Heretic and Hexen, and I agree with most of what he said. He also on Twitter, I was just scrolling through his Twitter, and he posted some gameplay from Fear, and I was just thinking, like, this is a game that doesn't need a re-release because it still runs great, looks great. So it just makes me wonder, like, where Night Dive is planning to go.
I'm glad that they didn't do Quake 4. Because and I'm glad they didn't do Quake 3, because honestly, Quake Live is fine. That's the Quake 3 for right now. Like if you want a functional version of Quake 3, you got Quake Live. If you want a bastardized version of Quake 3 or Quake Live, you can go play Quake Champions. But, like, yeah, I don't know. Quake 3 Arena, whatever you want to call it, is, that can't be touched. And I feel the same way about Unreal Tournament. I feel the way about a lot of these games that are coming up for them. Halo 2? But then the Master Chief Collection already did that stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know where they go from
and
here.
did it really well. The original Unreal would be cool.
Yeah.
Unreal 1 and 2, that'd be cool.
And it's not like Epic's going to do anything with that IP. Right? Nope. So, like, I'm sure they would gladly work with Night Dive on that. But yeah, like, I wonder where they go from here.
Tell me this, because I mean, you guys obviously know way more about like Quake and Doom than I do, but how would you feel if they did like almost like a Sonic Mania situation where it's like a new game but in that retro art style, like they did an original Quake game where it looked like a 90s Quake
David
game.
Like that guy who made his house in Doom, what was that, last year or 2 years ago, that mod, like
My House, that one. Yeah.
My House, Donovan, like the community is making new experiences in that Doom engine. So, like, I don't think they need to, like, hire someone to do it, because that community, it's 2025, and there are still new Doom experiences coming out on Doom, Doom 2.
Yeah.
To what Donovan said, that they've been hiring members of the community to build these new expansions. Like, they did it last year for Legacy of Rust with Doom and Doom 2, and they did it this year with, I don't remember who made Heretic's new campaign, but I know that Hexen's new campaign was made by a prominent Hexen modder. So I do think, but, you know, from what Donovan was saying, I would love to see Night Dive do an original IP, period, because I think they have the chops to do it. And I think that if they did it, it would be kind of a New Blood situation where they would definitely evoke Quake or Doom specifically.
Like Dusk. Dusk is a perfect example of that. Like, Dusk is basically Quake 1, but outside with Barnes or whatever the fuck that game is. Like, I like Dusk. There's nothing wrong with Dusk. Yeah, I don't know what the market is. Like, because if it was a Hexen-like, I don't think I would have been like, hey, David, let's play this before the podcast so we can talk about it. Like, I think that's part of the secret sauce of Night Dive right now. But I do agree with you, Dominic. If they take an IP and they do something new with it, because we've seen nuggets of that. There was like a new mission or chapter in Quake 2 remaster, like you said,
and Quake 1.
Yeah,
Machine Games did it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So like they've done that where they are adding new experiences to these remasters. They even did that with H+H here. So yeah, I think that'd be interesting to see. I just am curious where they go from here. And it's like, yeah, I would love to play like a Night Dive shooter. Like, go make one, because you see it with Ultra Kill, all those things over in New Blood. Like, there's still fun experiences happening in that retro, boomer shooter genre or whatever. Yeah. I saw a picture of Dave and Larry, New Blood and Night Dive together, and I'm like, here are the guys who are carrying that genre right now, or that subgenre, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't know, maybe some of the Battlefield games, like, I don't know where they're going to go from here.
I will say, if they want to stick to boomer shooters and they eventually want to make their own IP, what they've really done is brilliant. They've established a reputation and a lot of cred by resurrecting these old boomer shooters, and also by showing that they don't need to put too much new shine on them. Like, they focus on quality of life enhancements that doesn't change. The way I described Heretic and Hexen in my preview was that this is the games as you remember them, not as they really were.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what they're best at doing. And I think they could easily do that with their own IP for sure.
What about Duke?
What? Yeah, that'd be a good one. Because look at all those expansion packs, like Duke It Out in DC and all that stuff that a lot of people never played because that game was so popular. They just started churning out expansion parties doing expansions. If you rounded all those up, that's an instant buy from me. And the price is right, too. I think last year Doom and Doom 2 was $9.99. Like I said earlier, Heretic and Hexen is $14.99, which I don't know about it being priced a little higher than Doom. I think that's a little weird, but
yeah,
it's still a great price.
I'm curious where they go from here, but I I'm really impressed with like the standard of quality that they have now, kind of across all of their remasters. Even the games I don't like that they remake, like Turok 3, they're still doing a good job with that. Like, no one asked for Turok 3. I'm sorry.
Maybe that's, I mean, like Turok games were
a new Turok.
A new Turok, but also like Turok, when I think Turok, I think N64, but they worked with the PC versions of those old games.
Yeah.
Maybe they focus on old console games if they have code base from PC ports to do it. That'd be something that we could do.
Yeah.
Then again, they just did the thing, so they are branching out from first-person shooters, so maybe they want to do some third-person games too.
Yeah. I think that's the other area they can go. Or maybe maybe some LucasArts games or something. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Interesting to keep an eye on them. We appreciate the work that Night Dive does. They won the Do It for Shacknews award a few years ago. And, you know, we respect those. There's some studios that aren't considered like the highest tier that I think do amazing work, and Night Dive's one of them. A studio that doesn't do amazing work, I'm sorry, this is a horrible trend. Madden. Donovan.
I saw that coming. I think Donovan did too.
Yeah. I knew EA Sports was right in the crosshairs on that one.
I don't know if it's Tipperon. I don't know what division makes Madden.
I think that's the Madden folks, but they did the whole thing where they like broke off or like they spun EA Sports off a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Its own thing. So yeah, I don't even know at this point.
But we played Madden. It's on Switch too.
It is.
So there's that.
First time since the Wii, Madden's got a proper Nintendo port. Yeah.
Where to start? I still haven't beaten this asshole at Madden. I don't know how long we've been playing. It's like once a year, Donovan and I play Madden, and I lose. But this weekend, David, I lost 7-6 twice. 1 point. And that 1 point...
What's up with that score? Twice.
I can't kick in this game. The latency is so bad online that I cannot kick. Donovan has apparently trained himself to kick through the latency. Like, I don't know how much you hate yourself that you have actually gotten good at online field goals, but you are good at online field goals. Like, he actually hits his extra points. I can't. I tried to kick an extra point, David. It went 50 yards to the right. Like,
you got to go by bad. You got to start doing, it happens to an NFL team every year where their kicker just gets so bad that they just start going for it every time. They score touchdowns and they're like,
and that's what ended up happening.
Because we got a better chance of scoring. Yeah, you might start doing that where it's just like, we're just going for 2 every time.
That's exactly what happened. Because first game, I think I was playing as the Eagles. I was like, screw it, I'll try to kick. Because it was my first time kicking in the game. I was like, you know what? I'll try to kick. 50 yards to the right. So then the third game that we played, actually, but the second full game we played, I was the Chiefs. And I just said, screw it, I'm going to just go for it. And then I didn't get it. 7-6, which means 2 things. I was playing decent defense.
Yeah.
Donovan was playing decent defense. Or we both sucked at offense. I can't really tell what was going on.
I think it was a great blend of both. It was a blend of that, but also the Switch 2 of it all. I think Madden is a pretty good Switch 2 port. I played a bit after we finished. It's interesting because this is a year where Madden is skipping for the first time the PS4, Xbox One generation. So usually whenever that happens, at least the perception from the outside looking in is that, all right, we're getting like some fidelity, performance enhancements, whatever's happened on this game, couldn't be on the last gen of the consoles. So it's cool that this is the one that's coming to Switch 2. It's definitely like the weaker of all the places you could play Madden, PC, Xbox, PS4. I think it runs somewhere. I said on stream, it feels like it's in like the 40 FPS range, which is fine enough. I think that whatever like physical concession or graphical concessions you're making are kind of worth it for the novelty of having Madden on a Switch, where you can just play in handheld on a couch and watch football, or go to a friend's house, or sit on a bench outside. It's the only way you can do that.
This is a big deal. It is a big deal. This is the first time Madden has come to a Nintendo system in like 18 years or something. Like, it's been a really long time. And it was number 2 on the eShop this weekend. Like, people were buying.
Yeah. I thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, stereotypically, you don't think that the Nintendo fan base and the sports fan base have the biggest Venn diagram overlap, but obviously that's not exactly the case because, yeah, second biggest game on eShop.
I mean, I'm a crazy Nintendo fan, and yeah, before you were playing video games on the SNES, I loved Madden on SNES, David. It was great. There were arguments about EA Sports titles on Genesis versus SNES during that generation, right? I think there was blood in NHL 94 for Sega, but not on SNES, and that was a thing in Mortal Kombat as well. But Madden ran extremely well back then on the SNES, and I would play these, and I, long-suffering Browns fan at the time, I would play these super long franchise seasons, multiple seasons of my franchise with these teams. So the olds who have a Nintendo Switch 2, they remember when Madden was good on Nintendo devices. But that was 30 years ago. So it's N64 was hit or miss. And then by the GameCube they still had Madden, but by the Wii it was over. The Wii Madden was not the same Madden as PlayStation and Xbox at the time. It used motion controls, which is kind of cool because you would throw this. It wasn't, motion controls were still novel at the time. I actually liked Madden on Wii, but that was it. Wii U came out, they're fuck no, we're not going to put anything on this system. And then Switch came out, and they were we're still not going to put anything on this system. Because Frostbite...
we'll give you a shitty version of FC, was what they eventually got around to on Switch.
Yeah. But man, I hope that these sales open the minds of EA to realize that there is a huge market on Nintendo systems for your games. People are starving for good sports games on Switch. They have been. It's...
Yeah.
That's why you've seen success or muted success for games like Mutant Football League or whatever on that system. But just when you start Madden, it is offensive how instant the monetization efforts begin. You can't even get to the fucking play now button, David, without signing up for a fucking game pass, a season pass. And there's a free tier and a paid tier, but you have to pick one or the other.
You have to tell them, yeah.
Or they won't even let you click play now. I hate that. I love when a game starts and it's the accessibility menu. That's awesome. That's great. Mm-hmm. But this fucking here is a game pass or season pass and Ultimate Team, and then you even look at the menu. The first fucking option in the menu, and this isn't a critique of the Switch version, it's a critique of all versions of this. Ultimate Team. It's just in your face about Ultimate Team. Everywhere. After a game, here's a splash screen reminding you to use Ultimate Team. It's
yeah. Which we should explain. It's the build a fantasy team mode where you can buy packs and stuff. It's where all the microtransactions are.
It's
in sports games.
You can get Tony Romo's Ultimate card for $50. I don't know how much these things cost, but it's just stupid, and I hate it, and I've always hated it.
Yeah.
And this just reminded me, man, I hate that EA has a monopoly on football games because NFL 2K5 was peak for a lot of people, and we're 20 years later now, and I wish the NFL would open that license up. Because, yeah. But, that being said, the actual gameplay, forget presentation, all these things. The gameplay was solid, Donovan. I didn't at any point...
It's an improvement.
I didn't feel Switch 2 hampered my enjoyment of Madden.
No. It was pretty awesome, honestly. You mentioned earlier that, when Madden was on Wii, it was a different version than the Xbox and PlayStation. What I love about the Switch 2 version is that it's more or less feature parity with the Xbox and PlayStation.
It has crossplay.
Crossplay. You sign into the same EA account. You've got Ultimate Team Dynasty is there, Play Now, franchise. You can do all that. Everything's still snappy and moves along. When you're in games, you get all the presentation changes. This year they've added, Rich Eisen's in there, Scott Hansen from NFL Red Zone is in there. You've got all those cool bells and whistles. Some of the, like you said, the gameplay, some of the animations are different. I've been playing. I've noticed. I think we mentioned it on the stream, but running feels better. I've noticed more like precise animations. I was playing this morning actually. I was like running. I was controlling a running back. It was like a halfback dive, and I was trying to like hit a hole and like go through the middle of the field. And there was like a tight squeeze between tackles, and my player goes like he like kind of like turns his shoulders in so he can get through the defenders. So I was like, there's like I'm seeing some actual improvements on like the moment to moment.
It feels like they're experimenting in NCAA or college football, and then the things that work in college football they're bringing over to Madden. So the running in college football last year was improved compared to Madden, and I feel like they took some of the learnings from that and they brought it over to Madden. If that's what we're gonna see here, college football is still better than Madden. So like I think that they might be able to improve this over time. But yeah, like I don't know. It's the least I've hated Madden in a while, so I'll give them that.
A lot of things from college football have made their way to Madden, and obviously there's that. There's wear and tear, which I think might have started last year with Madden, but they've increased it more this year. They've got like the new like sub menu for it that college football has. But even the pageantry, which obviously that's like college football's thing, is like the mascot and stuff. But I played a game in my franchise where I was playing against the Colts, and we were in Indianapolis, and it starts off and they show Jeff Saturday banging like the anvil thing with the hammer, and I was like, that's like actually Jeff Saturday, like they made a model for him. He's not even their coach anymore. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, they've got like cool little like individual introductions like that, which is very college football. Played as the Ravens, and they had, Poe comes out and he's like running through the tunnel doing his thing. I'm like, I'm seeing they're starting to get a little bit more of that like team identity.
Your mascot's called Poe?
Edgar Allan Poe. Baltimore,
I can't think of a
Baltimore Ravens
fucking team.
Oh, it's cool. So there's actually more. They used to have 3 mascots when they first became the Ravens. It was Edgar
one
Allan
was Brownie the Elf.
It was Edgar Allan and Poe, and then they phased out Edgar and Allan, just became Poe, the Ravens mascot. But a couple seasons ago, the mascot got hurt like during a game, like somebody hit him or he collided with somebody, and they had to like take him to the medical room. But then they played into it and they brought back Edgar and Allan for the rest of the season. So now they have all 3 again for the first time since like the 90s. Poe's a great mascot.
Edgar Allan Poe is one person.
Yeah, but he had multitudes, within him.
Jeez. To take an iconic franchise like the Cleveland Browns and turn it into that, unforgivable.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And then when
luckily they're being done proper justice now
in the game. So that's cool. I wonder if in Cleveland Browns pregame they smash a guitar, like they have someone come in and break a guitar.
There you go, rock and roll.
Yeah, sometimes you see like Bernie Kosar do it or whatever. I'm curious. Now you have me wondering. The thing I want
to look at all of them.
Yeah, the thing I want to do, Donovan, is look at every single head coach model and rank them. I think that would be a funny exercise to just because like. Famously, I think we were playing Sean Payton, the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. He's not in there,
So it's just some random guy on the sideline.
Like some big dude with a beard.
Yeah. I there's like silly things like that about this game that I think are interesting. I think the ratings for the teams are off. I don't understand how the Browns are ranked 80 overall. There's no universe in which the Browns should be 80 overall.
It's like the worst Madden rating a team could get is like a 77. You could win one game and you'll be like a 77.
That's exactly what the Jaguars got, I think. Or the Colts are 78, and I think the Jags are 77. But horrible. Like some of the
we should mention another new feature we tried out on stream was the heavy snow weather condition that they added.
So this is ridiculous, David. This is like you can't see. You literally football is about seeing 20 yards down the field, right? Donovan and I we played it. You couldn't see 5 yards down the field, and of course, my team is wearing the whites, right? So like,
oh boy.
I'm invisible. I can't see any of my players. Donovan can't see any of my players. I remember saying like, oh, you're screwed. I'm going to beat you because you can't see me. No, I couldn't see my receivers on offense. So I didn't know where I was throwing it. And like, forget running the ball. You can't even make a cut. Like throw out
everybody stumbles. Yeah,
throw out 80% of the playbook had to be thrown in the trash for that game. And I do want to point this out, Diamond, because we did have a desync. That was the game where we had a desync and it crashed. We had to quit out. So that sucked. Yep. But that happens in all Madden games. So, like, I don't want to say that was Switch 2 specific. But it was funny because, like, I think this is also the first time Wembley Stadium is in Madden. Or
maybe. If it wasn't this one, it was maybe last. But it's definitely recent. But you could do the London games.
So we were playing in London in a just blizzard.
Yeah.
And, like, Donovan somehow kicked a field goal in a blizzard.
It was 50 yards. We recorded it.
Yeah. I was like, this is ridiculous. This guy. Like, I don't know how much practice you have to be able to kick that field goal, but he did. And I hate him for it.
So much of these games.
You have played way too much Madden.
I play too much Madden.
Your friend group is like, they're a bad influence on you, man. They're making you play Madden.
Sports games.
Like, there are other games out there that you guys can play together. I'd rather you just play Fortnite instead. But, you know.
Hey, I was going to say, there's always Fortnite.
Yeah.
Always Fortnite.
But, yeah, like, all in all, as much of as a hater as I sound of the Madden franchise, I love football. So, like, football being on Switch 2 is a huge deal. That being said, I don't want to play this game. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm still destroying stuff in Donkey Kong Bonanza, and honestly, like, playing Heretic and Hexen was like, I kind of want to go back and, like, play through those campaigns, because it was so long ago I've forgotten them. But but Madden, you're reviewing it, right?
I'm reviewing Madden, yeah.
That's still in progress, though.
Yeah.
They gave it's like a week-long early access period for.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Usually it's like 3 days feels like the standard.
It used to be 3 days, and now it's a whole 7 days now of early access. So
to be unprecedented, I think it's.
But it's very much the same game as last year. Like, there's some improvements. It's that same thing, incremental improvements for Madden. Like, every 5 to 10 years they get this big update, and then they just kind of release more ultimate cards and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Madden on Switch 2. It's a good thing. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. I think it's good. I think it's a big deal. And it's a sign that EA is going to be more invested in this generation. On
the rumor, we don't know the exact details because we're not privy to these conversations, but the rumor is that the contract that EA and NFL has for licensing Madden is up for renegotiation like next year or 2027, I think. So that's the belief, is that it's like the classic getting our shit together when it matters most kind of situation.
Well, also, like, this is not going to cannibalize sales, right? Like, the people who are buying Madden every year, they're buying it for Xbox or PS5, right? So it's like, I think that any copies they sell on Switch 2 is probably gravy to them. So, yeah, like, the NFL wants number go up, right? If number go down, NFL mad. So number go up, right? So put it on Switch 2. It's fine. But I'm happy that people who want this game can play it over there, but it still lacks some of the things that I like. My complaints about the game are not specific to Switch 2 at all. It's just, I have issues with the game's design. I have issues with the points of emphasis and microtransactions and stuff. All that stuff's there. It's all parody with the other ones. So it reminds me of Tony Hawk. Like, Tony Hawk, it feels a little different, but the gameplay was fine. Like, load times were not bad in Madden either. So I think it's nice. Yeah, we'll look forward to your review. So are you going to review it on Xbox?
I'll review the Xbox version. I'll definitely talk about playing it on Switch 2 as well. Mm-hmm. I'll do a double duty.
Yeah. So I was right. Nintendo did announce another Direct/showcase shortly after we posted our podcast. That can't happen again this week, right?
Surely not.
No way.
Sure not.
No way will Doug Bowser announce the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond release date this week, right?
He's too busy, Asif.
Making pizzas. Did you see?
Yeah.
I found out what Doug Bowser does, guys. He makes pizza and plays Mario Kart, apparently. There was
very nice life.
The ESA did some sort of charity fundraiser, and you know how they have these like different things, like have lunch with Bill Gates, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was a pizza party with Doug Bowser where you played Mario Kart World with him, and apparently some people bid for that, and he did it. So that's what Doug does, in case you guys were wondering. He also tweets occasionally. He tweeted about it.
Yeah.
But what I said in our Slack, I'll say it here. Just live footage of Doug Bowser not making video games. Get back to work. Quit eating pizza.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, because you met him, right?
I did. I talked to him at the gift shop at Nintendo World. He was buying a bunch of merch.
Really?
He was from buying it?
He has to buy his own merch?
From Super Nintendo World, yeah. He's like, he was buying stuff. He was going to come back and buy more after he had to like go talk to people or, I don't know, do President of Nintendo America things. He's going to do more.
Hang out with Cody Rhodes.
Hey.
But yeah, so we found out a little bit of what Doug Bowser's up to. Eating pizza and playing Mario Kart World. Which is not unlike us. He's kind of like us.
Yeah.
He's one of us.
I could do that. I'm starting to really scout his position. So when I make my case to become President of Nintendo of America, I will know every last thing that the guy does, right? And
yeah.
Apparently eating pizza is one of those big things that Doug Bowser does over at the company. So yeah, but there was an Indie World Showcase. We got a release date, right, for Mina the Hollower? Is that right?
Yes. Mina the Hollower got a release date there. A lot of these games are games that are on other things, but game? Yeah.
And it kind of is like a Zelda top-down like. Is that fair to describe?
Kind of.
It's supposed to be evocative of like Castlevania and Link's Awakening.
Okay. I can see that. It looks great.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I backed it on Kickstarter way back when.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got that. This was a short one. It was like 15 minutes, I think. Showcase.
Yeah. That's like rapid fire. When you're doing a 15-minute showcase, it's like bam, 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 bam. See you later. So some other games that stuck out to me. Is This Seat Taken? It's like a puzzle game about like seating people in different scenarios.
Yeah, it's like restaurants or some sort of
weddings,
where
buses, airplanes, like anywhere where you sit and you need to be organized where you're sitting. This is a game about organizing where people sit. It's actually
because it's
unique.
It's like people have preferences where it's like, I want to be by a window. I don't want to sit in a green chair, that sort of thing. And you've got to like,
at a wedding, you're like, you can't put that grandma next to that grandma because they hate each other, right? Like things like that. You gotta stick one of them at the kids' table or something. But yeah, that was one of the announcements I thought was pretty neat. Content warning is coming over to Switch 2 or Switch. It's both Switch 2 and 1.
Fun game.
Little Kitty Big City got the Picture Perfect update, a trailer for that. Herdling got a release date trailer. That game looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we played that at GDC. I think Ozzy and I did a little bit. Winterboro was also a game. I think I previewed that one actually after GDC. I played Xbox on GDC. They announced it's coming to Switch. That's a fun like survival game where you're essentially a mouse trying to rebuild his home essentially, and you live in like this winter biome, so it's a survival game. So you like leave your little burrows like at the bottom of a tree and you go out, but you can only be in the cold for so long. You've got like a temperature meter, you've got to like stay near fires, you got to gather resources, but it's got this very cute like almost like storybook art style, which I thought was pretty charming. Very good fit for Switch.
This is a big deal in my opinion. UFO 50 came to Switch, and that's like one of the best indie. I don't want to call it a game, it's 50 games. It's like one of the best indie games compilations ever.
Not only is it just like 50 games put together, but I love the framing around it, where it's like in its own universe. It's like this fictional company. It's their collection of games, and it's supposed to tell like the story of them progressing over the years. Like they didn't need to do any of that, but it's such a cool way to like frame this collection of tiny experiences.
I thought that was a big announcement though, because like that was a game last year when we saw it. We're like, this should be on Switch, and it is now. And yeah, that's on Switch, and as a result, Switch 2. So, but I did see several of my friends playing that over the weekend. So there's people that may not have had a PC or maybe don't buy many PC games that were holding out. Kind of reminds me of Pizza Tower. When that game came out, it was like huge on Steam Deck, and then a year later, half a year later, it was on Switch as well. Those were kind of the highlights, honestly. It wasn't. No offense to any of these other games, but it's just it wasn't that big of a showcase, honestly.
So this game was not mentioned during the showcase, but in laying out their Gamescom plans, Nintendo confirmed that Hollow Knight Silksong is going to be at their Gamescom booth later this month in Germany. It'll be playable, so that's them, and I believe Xbox now will have it playable at the show. So
still no release date.
No.
Do we think Hollow Knight's coming out this year still?
Well, we had that weird quote, I believe it was from Sarah Bond, where she was like, it'll be playable when the ROG Ally comes out, which they've said that's this fall. So if you connect those lines,
I can't
the idea
wait.
was out this year.
I think we get a release date during Gamescom.
That's why, yeah.
You know
probably
what?
opening night Jeff, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that has Jeff Keighley written all over it.
Yeah,
he would get Jeff, God Emperor of video games, Keighley would get the Hollow Knight release date trailer, right? That seems like a get for him.
Yeah.
That being said, it costs a lot of money to be at opening night live, and Team Cherry is not the biggest company on earth. It's still a very small team.
Hollow Knight's got to be one of those games where Jeff's meeting them halfway,
or just gives it to him for free, right? Like he's like, look, I already got Epic Games handing me $500,000. I can do this just for the love of the game, as it were. But no Hollow Knight at this. A lot of people were mad. Team Cherry could just tweet out the release date without any other words, and it would be enough.
Yeah.
It would go viral. It would be enough. People would be super excited. I never beat Hollow Knight. I love that game. I need to go back to it because it's like excellent. It's like I really do enjoy that game. I just suck at it, and it gets frustrating when you die in that game. But that was like when I was traveling back in before the Death Stranding. Like that was one of those games I was playing on the plane a lot because it's like you can get lost in that game forever. And based on the amount of time they spent on Silksong, God, I hope it lives up to the hype because that's got to be anxiety-inducing for a small indie dev like Team Cherry.
Yeah.
And if they need more time, take more time. I'll just say that. If they don't, whatever. I think people are very excited about that. I think we're like on the verge of Hades 2 coming out too. Like it's going to go 1.0 soon, and then it'll be
a Switch 2 console exclusive at launch.
Yeah.
Very significant. Yeah.
So that won't be on the ROG Ally, Xbox, whatever they're calling that.
Well, yeah, I guess you could probably play it on that through Steam, because I think it'll be Steam and Switch 2, like day one, and then it's Xbox console and PS5 will have to wait an undisclosed amount of time. But those handheld PCs, if you can boot Steam, you'll be able to make it work.
Does that mean the ROG Ally isn't an Xbox? I thought everything was an Xbox.
Well, if it can run those games, they say it's an Xbox. They said that the phone was an Xbox, whatever the generic smartphone was.
My iPhone is an Xbox now?
It is.
Yeah.
No, the fuck it's not. Maybe in Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer's demented minds. But mine, my iPhone is an iPhone. My Switch is a Switch. My PlayStation is a PlayStation. My God, have
your
you seen
iPhone is an iPhone Series X. No,
not Series X. No, Microsoft's doing very well as a software developer for PlayStation 5. Like I saw Hellblade is coming over there, and they had some success with can't remember what the fuck else was.
Sea of Thieves is over there. Hi-Fi Rush.
Forza.
Forza was the big
Forza
one
Horizon
this year,
sold very well on the platform. So, and I think we just got news last week. Now, I don't know if you wrote or TJ wrote, but 80 million PS5s out there now. So that's a large addressable market. That's definitely, it's more than the Xbox platform. We don't know how many Xboxes have been sold, but yeah, Microsoft's finding ways to sell their software on other devices. So the ROG Ally, that's the Switch killer.
I mean, if you're a PC gamer, probably that's your thing.
Come on, Steam Deck is way better than it. Like, what are we talking about here?
There are people on both sides of that argument. I know people who are firmly in both camps. I'm more of a Steam Deck guy, but I know people who are like they're like the ROG.
Have they held the thing?
I mean, all of those things are clunky. They're all
no. No. The ROG Ally is by far the worst one I've ever held. And I'm not talking about this Xbox one. I'm talking about the ROG Ally that's like out now. Right. You could go to Best Buy and find a stack of them just sitting there because they suck. Like, I'm not this huge Steam Deck fan, but like Steam Deck is materially better from a software experience, from the first time user experience, and like, yeah, your whole library and the way that they explain this works. This is on deck. This is deck verified. This might run on deck. The optionality that you have with like graphics settings, and I just think big picture, the operating system that Steam Deck runs on is materially better than any Windows device will ever be. Because just let's hear about the battery life on ROG Ally before we all start proclaiming it the king of whatever the hell it is. I did hear that I haven't really been playing much Switch 2 in handheld. Don, you've traveled with it, right? How is the battery?
Yeah. Similar to the first Switch, it varies significantly based on what you're playing. I was going to mention during Madden, but I decided not to, but I will now. In handheld mode, I think I played 1/4 of Madden, and I think my Switch was down like 10% from where I had started.
Okay.
I was like, you'd probably get like a game out of this, and it's going to start flashing at you. Yeah, it depends. I did that Adventures of Elliot game in handheld entirely, and that was fine. I only ended up having to charge it once while I was playing that whole demo, and it was sort of like sitting on my desk off and on, jumping in, jump out sort of deal. But it feels like, I know it's a stronger battery than Switch, but it feels like the games are also more demanding than the ones that were on Switch, so it's been like an equal kind of evolutionary.
So it's like 3 to 6 hours, right? Or 2 to 6 hours. That was the old benchmark for the Switch, and it seems like it's the same for the Switch too. That's kind of lame.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I've kept the setting on because I believe it's there by default, where it doesn't charge past like 90 to like say keep the battery alive longer. Yeah, but I've not had a moment where I was playing a game in handheld and I hit the home button and I was like, wow, I'm still at 88%. When I always looked down, I was like, okay, I'm down into like the 30s, 40s, whatever. That said, I do find myself playing dock way more than I did Switch 1. It does.
It gets hot in handheld and in tabletop mode.
Did they put a thing out? I just saw somebody say that they put out like a thing about people playing it in the summer outside.
Yeah. The Japanese Nintendo customer service Twitter account posted about it. I definitely saw that. And there's like things to do to keep your Switch cool. And it's like, the fans are working overtime on that thing, but the back of that thing gets hot. So
they are. You can feel it.
I mean, there's parts of the deck that get hot too when you're using it.
Yeah.
It just seems like they focused on performance over battery life this time. But like, I just haven't used it in handheld very much. I don't travel as often, and I don't really want. Now that we have like these 4K games, I'd rather see them in 4K.
I think to be my thing. Yeah.
No, that's it for me. The 4K display, and also I tried over the last few weeks. Like I visited my sister a few weeks ago, and I took my Switch 2, played that in handheld mode. I've tried Heretic Hexen in handheld mode. I just straight up don't like Switch 2 as a handheld. Like
it's too big.
It's too big. It's too heavy. Dock is just the way to go for me. And it was with Switch 1 as well, but I definitely played that in handheld much more than I have to Switch 2.
So
never will.
This brings me to a thought that I had this weekend. Does the Switch need to still be this hybrid console? Like, do they need this?
I think they do.
Okay.
I think they do. I think it's hard to go back now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being a positive response if the next console they show it and it's just a hard home sit console and be like, what? I'm playing my Switch.
So
and then imagine them Donovan also announcing a new handheld. Like, people would not be happy having to buy both again, you know?
Yeah.
You bring up an interesting point, but like last week we talked about the price increase of the original Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And early on, when we were talking about the price of the Switch 2, I was like, I'm worried that Nintendo is pricing out their core users. And now it's like worse. Maybe this is the time to make a new Switch, not a Switch 2. Make a new Switch that's affordable and can fit in your pocket. And maybe make it in America or something. Like, make it somewhere where the tariffs won't kill you. You know what I mean? Like, this could be an interesting chess move for them. Where it's like, yes, Switch 2 expensive. We had to increase the prices on all these things. But here's now like a 2DS offering of the Switch.
Switch Pocket.
Yeah, Switch Pocket, right? I think that would sell like truck tons right now. Like, I think that is because your point, Dominic, it's not divorcing itself from this ecosystem, right? It's just part of it. It's another low-cost option. Yeah, you can't play Donkey Kong on it. You can't play Kart on it. But I think there's room for like $100 device or $150 device in this family of systems. And like, it's needed, in my opinion. Like, they're not going to sell Switch in Brazil or South America at the current prices. And like, that's the one area where that's like the geography that they have always historically struggled in. So it's like that and like India or like, you know, parts of Asia. I don't know. I want a Switch that can fit in my pocket, and I want to be able to play fun games on it. And like, that thing's too freaking big. The Switch 2 is too big. Like, I just don't think it solves the same problems that the original Switch did. And even the original Switch was too big. So I don't know. I don't know where we go from here, because then you try to shrink down the Switch 2 into something that can fit in your pocket, the battery life's going to be like 10 minutes. So that's the other problem. I do think that's Nintendo has some issues here where it's like they're making too many, I shouldn't say too many, but they're making concessions with this design, right? If they released like a home console that could actually compete with PS5 Pro in performance specs or even other powerful computers, I don't think it would matter. But it's just like, how many compromises do you need to make, Nintendo, right? Like, and where do we go from here? Because I do think a cheaper Switch 2 is needed down the road. I don't know what that would be called or what it would look like, or if it would be a dedicated handheld. Like,
probably do another Switch 2 Lite.
Hey, God, I hope not, but probably. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought I had. Like, are we always going to just be behind the 8-ball with the Nintendo system? I don't know. But
I think the success of the Switch has painted them into a corner where they have to do hybrid. You have to, because this Nintendo, they've always had a handheld since the Game Boy. You've had a handheld, you know. I look at like franchises like Pokemon, and I'm like, the day that a Pokemon game comes out and I can't play it while I'm walking around on a handheld thing, it'll be like the end of an era. I don't know. It's the novelty. It's why you even have a Steam Deck and an ROG Ally, and when I was all these companies chasing that form factor and that success. So it'd be weird if they were the ones who jumped out of it.
Well, I'm not saying completely divorce it. What I'm saying is, what if they released a home console that you could play with controllers and it's on your TV only, but for an extra fee, you could buy a handheld device that connects to that, kind of like a Wii U tablet, right? The Wii U gamepad,
right,
but untethered, where you can just take it with you. So there's like a handheld experience with all those games, and then there's this not docked, but like a home console experience. Is that enough of the hybrid?
They would still be limited by the hardware then if it had to run on this handheld.
Yeah.
You know,
But
yeah, this was a streaming thing, which would be a whole different can of worms.
Oh no, they can't do that. They can't do streaming. They're just figuring out online internet. Like they can't.
Yeah.
The cloud-based games that released on the Switch 1 generation were all third party. It was like RE and like these other games were experimenting with it, and it didn't really work that well in America because our internet sucks compared to Japan. That would work in Japan. Because then that becomes like, maybe that's what they see happening, like, with the power of the cloud. Like, some of these issues will be fixed over time and handheld will converge. But it just still feels like a lot of concessions are being made from a temperature standpoint, battery life standpoint, storage, the cartridge system. Like, there's all these things that feel like they're holding back the system in ways to me. So this is something I thought about. But yeah, this might be a time to release a super, super affordable Switch 1, which is counterintuitive, but like, I'd buy it. I would buy that instantly. If you gave me like most of my Switch 1 games, right? Not the waggle ones, but like most of those, like if I could play Hollow Knight in a pocketable handheld, that'd be great.
So not the waggle ones, meaning you don't see the Joy-Con being detachable? It
Correct.
would just be like the Switch Lite. They would just be connected.
Correct.
Okay.
Or like the Game & Watch, or like the DS, or like the Game Boy. You know what I mean? Like all in one, fits in your pocket kind of thing. Honestly, if you gave me a Game Boy Advance SP style Switch, that's what I want. Like a like a foldable screen into like a nice controller setup. I don't know. Doug Bowser, get on it. Stop making pizza. That's weird. Because like, I liked handheld on Switch 1. Like, I played a lot of handheld on Switch 1.
Yeah.
I barely use that thing for handheld. Because and maybe it's just that I like the docked experience more. And over time, I started playing docked. If you look at, like, I remember early on, David, like, you were like, I'm 100% docked, and then Animal Crossing came out, and you're like, I like handheld now. I was kind of the opposite, where I was like, oh man, I can play Breath of the Wild at handheld. And I was like flying all over the world playing Breath of the Wild. I was like, this is awesome. And then by the end of the generation, I was playing mainly docked, because like, I'm not going to play F-Zero 99 in handheld with the D buttons. Are you kidding?
Right.
No way. In this economy? Curious what chess move is next for Nintendo. Because, like, there's Dragon Drive is not it. We still don't have release dates for most of these games that have been slated for 2025.
Just Pokemon now.
Yeah, but like
fucking new games, yeah.
No Hyrule Warriors release date, no Metroid release date, no
Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah. This is a pretty awful year to launch a system. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you could go back and they could look into the crystal ball and see what politics in the economy would look like, that thing would not be out right now, probably. They just would have not announced it.
They would have tried to rush it out in like October of last year.
Holiday 2024, yeah.
Yeah, but like try to ship as many Switch 2s as possible before January 20th or 21st, 2025. I don't know why I picked that date, but you know, maybe something to do with current despot. Anyway, I think they're doing a pretty good job given everything that they're facing.
Yeah, I mean, the consoles still sound like gangbusters. People can't get it fast enough. So,
and I might just be wrong, and David, we might just be wrong about the thing being too big. Like, people seem to like these giant ass clunky handhelds, like bigger than freaking Sega Nomads, bigger than the freaking Atari Lynx, bigger than the like. These things are massive. Inside,
I am just too in love with handheld gaming. I think a part of it is because to me, growing up, Nintendo was the Game Boy and the DS. Like, that's just what they were, that and the GameCube. That I'll just always play it. I mean, until it's like physically like weighing me down and I can't like walk around with it. I still play my Switch 2 and handheld a lot. I've definitely flip-flopped. With Switch 1, I was probably like 70% handheld, 30% docked. I think it's probably the reverse so far, these first few months of Switch 2. Yeah. And it's because, like you mentioned, also the fidelity, right? I just like watching the games run nice on a 4K TV and seeing all the colors pop and stuff. I mean, you know, Pokemon and all that. But I'll always just love the novelty of being able to go bloop and sit down on the couch or go hang out with friends or stand up in my kitchen and play a game.
It just sucks that, like, for most of the games that I'm going to play in handheld, I'm going to need a battery bank to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and And look, I won Breath of the Wild with a battery bank plugged into my Switch 1 when I was flying back from TGS. So like, yeah, I'm well prepared for this. I have plenty of battery banks and all that, but like, that's the thing where I'm like, yeah, this is definitely the first iteration of this system. They're going to come back with a much more polished version of this system down the road. Like, that's just what Nintendo does. So I'm sure they'll do it again.
Yeah, I mean, the handheld tech is only going to get better because, I mean, they're not the only people innovating in that space now. So, I mean, 3 years from now, they'll be doing things we didn't think they could do now. And I didn't even think the Switch 2 would be capable of what it is before they announced it. So.
Instead of a console war here, and obviously we're in a trade war, but you have a semiconductor war between NVIDIA and AMD. And AMD is powering Sony and Xbox and the ROG Ally. And then I think even AMD chips were used in the servers that powered Google Stadia, the most successful cloud-based platform of the last decade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. By default.
Oh, it did better than OnLive.
Yeah. I don't even know what that
Remember
is.
OnLive?
I don't even know what that is. No.
OnLive had an E3 booth, David.
I know.
They had an E3 booth.
Yeah.
They probably spent most of their budget on that booth. And yeah, that thing, that died. That was dead on arrival. Oh, yeah. There were some other cloud things that also fell flat.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. Remember those?
Wow. Yeah, I do.
So I do think the power of the cloud could help Nintendo down the road with this. But yeah, I guess it just doesn't matter the size of the thing right now. But the cost of the thing matters. And if they could bring that down with like a handheld only version that still lets you play all these games, I think that would be a big deal. But I do think NVIDIA, like, they view Nintendo as like an opportunity still. Like, they're like, hey, we can do stuff with our Tegra chips over there. But like we saw it last week with AMD earnings, or 2 weeks ago, like, gaming's not what makes these companies money anymore. It's like 10 to 20% of their revenue, and it used to be like 80. So times have changed at both of those companies, but I do think, to your point, it's good that Nintendo has competition. Steam Deck, I think the success of Steam Deck informed the specs of the Switch 2. They're like, it has to do this, has to do this, has to do this. Here's one example where it's better, right? The 1080p versus the 800p screen and handheld. Because that is a nice screen. And the HDR support in handheld is cool.
And you're still probably going to get your Switch 2 OLED 2 years from now or something like that.
God, how much is that going to cost?
That lever. Eesh. Yeah, but a lot of money, yeah.
We're going to see a $600 Nintendo device? It's like,
I mean, it wouldn't be the most expensive handheld. That, like, the ROG is like up in like 7, 8 if you want like the beefed up ones. Steam Deck's like 5 or 6, depending on which one you want. They're expensive.
PS5 Pro for the price of a ROG Ally.
You can. Which people also argue the merits of that purchase as well, so.
Yeah. I've never been one to buy these like pro models ever.
No.
So like, because I'm like, if it runs the games I want to play, I'm not going to buy a new one unless it's like GTA 6 runs materially better on this system. I'll buy it, but like other than that, I don't know.
I did have one question. Do you guys think that they'll at some point we'll see like third-party games start phasing out support for the base Switch in favor of the Switch 2? And I just asked this because so last week they announced sorry, follow me for a moment. Genshin Impact announced they're ending support on PS4 for that game, which is where it launched in 2020. And now they're essentially like, hey, play it on PS5 or your phone. And they're increasing like the specs and requirements and for all that. It just made me think because Fortnite just launched their Switch 2 edition. Fortnite was on the base Switch. It's still on the base Switch right now. You can play it on both. Obviously, it runs much better on Switch 2. But like that's another one where like every couple of years, Epic Games has like a new in-house Unreal Engine tech upgrade that they give to Fortnite, and they're like raising the specs and the storage and whatnot. I'm like, eventually they're gonna release an update for that game where they're just like, this one's not gonna come to Switch because it's just we've reached the breaking point. And I just wonder if we're like still a couple years away from that. Yes. Are we months away from that? But at some point,
I think we're years away.
People are gonna start, yeah.
We see this with consoles all the time. Like I think the PS2 is the first where, especially sports games, were available on that for years after PS3 launched.
That's because
I can see the same.
Didn't sell well.
Yeah, Yeah, because it didn't sell well, and because the user base of the PS2 was so large.
And that's massive. That's the same thing with Switch 1. It's like,
right,
if you're a company and your game runs on Switch, you would be an idiot to release it only on Switch 2 right now. Because there's only 5 or 6 million Switch 2s. There's 153 million Switches. Like, you gotta release. Like, I feel like when Nintendo actively stops supporting the Switch 1, that's when you'll see Switch 1 third parties leave. But, like, I don't think that's happening for a few years. So I think we're still in that transition period. This year, we're very much straddling these consoles with Metroid, Pokemon. Like, there's several games that you can point to. And then even first party next year, like Tomodachi Life is going to come out on both systems.
And I don't think it will be as dramatic when they do cut it off. Like, I think the eShop will remain up because of the cross compatibility. Yeah, like it has to. So it'll be Nintendo saying like, hey, the next Zelda is only on Switch 2.
Yeah.
But you're still going to have, full eShop support for Switch 1 games.
But like whenever COD gets announced for Switch, it's not going to be on Switch 1, right?
Oh, yeah. There'll be a Switch 2 situation.
Yep. So it's like, I think it's a function of the game, Donovan. Like, if you're making a 2D HD JRPG, you better release it on Switch 1. Like, because that's the system for it. That was the place. And I think Octopath Zero, is that coming out on both?
Octopath Zero is, sorry, just looking at this. Yeah, it's coming to both. But the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales, which is same dev, same engine, or looks similar at least, same art style, only Switch 2.
Yeah, I see that.
Which is pretty interesting. But Octopath will be on both this December when it comes out.
Yeah, so like that's a big company for still releasing a third party on this system. Yeah, I think that's a really good question though. When my guess would be 2027 is when
that sounds right.
Which is crazy. That's 10 years of Switch development. Like that's similar to the PS2 life cycle though, David, to your point earlier. And I think that's the right thing to compare it to, right? Similar lifetime sales, huge addressable market. Still, like, at this point, easy to develop for because you've been doing it for so long. But yeah, like, Madden will never come to Switch 1. I do hope we get, like, NHL on Switch 2, though. That would be cool. I like, that's the game that I would buy on Switch 2.
You have to imagine that even more EA Sports games next year. See, with the sales of Madden, we don't have the figures yet, but we see it on the eShop,
Yeah.
I imagine next year they'll go even further.
Yeah, I guess it was a pretty good episode, though. We hit a bunch of different things. Anything else we need to hit before we head out?
Nothing else I can think of. Do
you want to talk about NBA 2K25 and this rebound thing? The greenlit rebound thing?
That is coming around the corner. Yeah, it's a September thing, I believe. 2K26. Which, hey, that'll be another sports game that'll probably do well on Switch 2.
Have we ever played NBA 2K against each other?
I don't think we have, no. Could be one to try. That'd be fun.
Do you have NBA 2K16?
16. I own it. I'd have to reinstall it, but yeah, I definitely own it.
The reason I bring that up is, the Cleveland Cavaliers won the NBA Finals in 2016. That was a pretty good team.
Yeah, that's true. And 2016 was a good COD a good 2K by my memory.
I think it might be one of the last ones I ever bought. But yeah, maybe we'll have to, when that comes out on Switch, we'll have to stream it and not pick snow as the option. Can you imagine like Wembley Stadium basketball in snow?
No. Snow.
No. Cool. Well, I think that'll do it then. We did it. This was episode 10.
Hey, look at that.
Some said we wouldn't make it past 3. I don't know who they were, but they're wrong.
The haters didn't believe.
They were like, this half-brain podcast isn't going to make it anywhere. Now we're out there in vertical videos. You see those?
Yeah.
People on all these different platforms reacting to our hot takes. People are still yelling at you, David, from your Donkey Kong.
I was
2 weeks
just going to say, yeah, they're pretty interested in what I had to say and replying to it.
Yeah. Boy, Boy, do they have opinions about your opinion. And is that not the internet in 2025?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like this, give us a little like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell, all those things. Follow us on all the platforms. We're everywhere. We're even on Blue Sky. We're not on Miiverse anymore.
Nobody is. So.
Man, I was the king over there, dude. My Miiverse was better than my Twitter game. Like, I was on fire over on Miiverse. So as a Miiverse influencer, I'm sad that it's never coming back. I do want to know whatever the hell that playtest thing is, because I feel like that could be the Miiverse.
That's why I raised my eyebrows. Like, they're doing something with online stuff. I don't know what's going to be.
Street Pass. Bring it back.
Street Pass should be a phone app.
I was going to say, I could see them tying it to the mobile app, because that seems to be a big emphasis.
Because you have that in your pocket, right? So then when you come home, you can sync your Street Pass with your Switch 2, and then there's some gaming experience built on it. I Street Passed with Reggie at CES. That was that was the wildest thing ever. I was like, oh my God, Reggie was in the room next to me. Like, because I went and I got to see the Wii U. Yes, I saw the Wii U before it had launched. And it was, Nintendo doesn't have a booth at CES or anything. They had some hotel suite. And I always brought my 3DS with me everywhere. And I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I got Reggie. So he was just sitting there, probably playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on his 3DS. But yeah, Street Pass with Reggie, that legend. He actually posted an actual picture of a monarch butterfly and said, Blathers is going to go crazy for this. So yeah, that dude's still playing Animal Crossing. Still. I know you are too.
Oh, yeah.
How many hours, David? Do you know?
1,500.
1,500 hours!
Yeah. Holy.
Is that how many you have in Stardew, Donovan?
That is eclipse to my Stardew time. My Stardew time is in the hundreds, I think. Maybe all platforms combined, it's probably like a few hundred, 3 or 4.
So I haven't talked much about Donkey Kong this episode, but I have 200,000 gold, which is way too much, right, Donovan? Like,
that is way too much.
Like, you don't... I can
never enough, though.
You say never enough, but like, could I buy everything in the game that would require gold with 200,000?
That charges gold?
Yeah.
Probably.
So, I finally met these, are they called fractones or whatever? These rare, they look like they're straight from a rare game. And
everyone,
What is this banana chip exchange?
Yeah, so you give the guy chips and they give you a banana, but I didn't notice until late in the game, actually. You could do it multiple times with each one. I think there's a cap, but you can exchange, to get multiple bananas from
But they said I could exchange gold for coins. Or did I read that wrong?
It's chips, because it's a different currency. It's like the banana chips, which is I remember you said you had a couple hundred of those at least.
I'm at 1,500 of them now.
Jesus, yeah. You exchange those. It's like 100, I think, for one banana.
Vanadium crystal?
Yeah.
Okay. I have way too much gold already. This is definitely me in Animal Crossing with my 100 million bells that I never
burn out.
So
this is like you and your bells. Although there are things in this game that charge you a lot of gold at certain points.
So I have a new mission. It's no longer destroy everything. I want to get 1 million gold.
And you're currently at 200,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've gotten to them yet, but there are definitely points in that game where you can just stand still and the gold will just regenerate beneath your feet. You can just keep getting it.
I'm at the 3rd level. I just beat the first big boss, whatever. Cranky?
Okay.
What is his name? Kong.
You did the Kong Elder thing where you get the disc.
Yeah, I got the disc. I did the dance of 1,000 dances, and I'm out in the lagoon layer. I'm in the next area, I think, or maybe even the next area. I'm progressing. I literally just beat Grumpy Kong. That first big boss.
Yeah.
I agree with you, man. Those are way too easy. I had the Kong Bonanza. I just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. You start out Kong Bonanza, you just beeline to him. You just close the distance before he does anything. Yep. The first few bosses are like that.
Oh, I do want to mention, I finally ran into the thing you mentioned in your review, Donovan. I hate the respawn of the enemies in this game. It's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
It is god-awful. It's like, you're 5 feet away from that asshole. You just killed him. You look this way, and then you turn back, and he's back.
Yeah,
it's
very quick, yeah.
And it's not like they're hard to kill or anything. It's just annoying. Especially those little fuckers who grab onto you. Fuck those guys in particular. Like, it's just such a little thing to complain about because it's not hard. I agree with your assessment. The game is not hard. The way I'm playing it makes it harder. But
self-imposed challenge, yeah.
I would rather play it that way though. And like I'm gonna keep I'm not doing 100% destruction, but I got to this one level and I was just like, before I progressed anywhere, I just destroyed where I was. And I was just like, okay, now I'm moving on. It was funny. I fell into the Grumpy Kong battle. I wasn't trying to progress. I just destroyed so many rocks that I fell onto some area, and it's like, you're in a battle all of a sudden. I was like, oh, okay, well. So I think I might have skipped around part of the level by accident. Like, I was just like, oh, well, I guess I'm here now. I guess I'll fight this guy. And yeah, I like the Kong Bonanza. That's the only one I have so far. I upgraded the charge punch. That's a pretty fun one. I noticed it doesn't really do anything to your enemy. Like, it doesn't have the same effect on enemies that it does on terrain. But yeah, like, still loving that game. Actually have progressed to other levels now. I have Pauline. Yeah, it's great. I think it's I think there's people that are going to be arguing for Game of the Year, David. I think there's going to be...
I'm sure there will. That's fine.
I think there's going to be some arguments about that. Yeah. Is it your Game of the Year right now, Donovan?
It's not. I have it behind Expedition 33, and it's in like a slugfest with like Death Stranding right now, which is also pretty great.
2? Okay. I was like, okay, I just want to make sure you're not talking about the first Death Stranding.
Game of the Year, yeah.
Did you watch the whole like previously on Death Stranding thing?
I did that, and I watched a YouTube video recap as well, just to make sure, because people were like, you might want to get a couple of sources of.
Do you understand the story of Death Stranding?
On the surface, yeah. If there's like some subtext that you're asking about, maybe not. But I get I get the state of the world. Yeah, I understand what's happening. So I need to get back to it. I haven't gone back to the game since I reviewed Donkey Kong, so we'll see. That's another one that Sony could put that on Switch too. They had that thing where they're talking about we're hiring somebody to help us with our publishing on Nintendo and Xbox. Well,
it's not. That's not a Sony IP. That's Kojima Productions.
Yeah, but right. They published it though, right? Did Sony publish it, or
they published it on PlayStation? But I think 505 Games published it on PC. So I don't know who would
there you go.
Who knows who would publish it? Maybe Nintendo would publish it on Nintendo.
Maybe, yeah.
But I know Kojima and Nintendo have a decent relationship, and it seems just a matter of time until Death Stranding ports to Switch 2, just to piss off David, mainly. But and then Death Stranding 2 will come out like, I don't know, 8 years from now on Switch 2. But yeah, I'm still enjoying Donkey Kong Bonanza. I gotta get back to Mario Kart World, guys. I feel like I fell off of that, but it's still great. We need to stream it, so we'll probably do that this week. But yeah, that'll do it for the show. I already told you to subscribe. Thanks to you guys for joining to do this.
Thank you.
Go check out Donovan's review of Dragon Drive. Go check out David's impressions piece on Hexen or H plus H, Heretic plus I don't know.
Hexen.
Heretic Hexen, or I don't know. I'm gonna continue to struggle with how these names should be pronounced now. And yeah, shout out to Doug Bowser for always watching these episodes and then laughing as he pushes the button to set another direct live. What do we think? What are the odds that we get a direct this week?
After the last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I don't know about this week, but by the end of August, feels it's got to be.
Yeah, I agree
likely. I'd say likely on the spectrum of.
They wouldn't just drop Metroid, right?
No.
Yeah.
No shot. No.
Like they're gonna do like a preview event and like, right?
At the very least, there will be a video or a direct that announces the release date and shows off more features and gameplay, if nothing else.
Yeah, are we headed for an overview trailer instead of a direct? That's what I'm wondering.
I think we get a direct.
Does it deserve its own direct?
Yes.
Like Mario Kart had its own direct, Donkey Kong had its own direct, Metroid should probably have its own direct.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
So it's a top tier Nintendo franchise. I would say it gets its own direct.
Yeah. Well, get on it, Doug Bowser. It is playable at a expo this month, and then it's probably going to be at PAX. Who knows? It was playable in April. That's what, like, I know it was a vertical slice or whatever, but it was an extremely polished vertical slice that I saw. Anyway, that'll do it. Look forward to whatever the hell news drops between now and next week, because just the nature of the business, right? But yeah, well, maybe it'll just be some Nintendo music stuff. Yeah, that'll do it. We'll see you next time. That's where we wave at the camera and say bye-bye. See you next time.